Welcome back. You are watching Global Eye. India and Canada aiming to seal an initial trade agreement this year in a bid to increase trade investments between the two nations. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal met his Canadian counterpart Mary Ng in Ottawa on Monday. In a statement, both countries said that the trade deal would cover high-level commitments in goods, services, investments, rules of origin, dispute settlement and others. Let's now go across to Subhrakant, Panda, President of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We're also joined by Goldy, Hyder, President, Business Council of Canada. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Subhrakant, Panda, how important is it for India and Canada to have an early trade deal? Give us a sense of what the business councils of the two countries want to be included in this early trade deal.
Good evening, Parikshit. Good to be on the show. In fact, I've just got back from Canada. I was leading the business delegation from the Indian side, which accompanied Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, when he was there for the ministerial dialogue on trade and investment. Now, if you look at bilateral trade between India and Canada, it's almost a rounding off error at about just short of $7 billion. And that's a pity because there is a lot of potential to trade between the two countries. As you know, FTAs nowadays are not just about trade, they're also about strategic ties. They're about a whole lot of other things. And this is where I think there is a great deal of interest to push this forward. And the great working relationship that both the ministers, Piyush Goyal and Mary have, I think will go a long way to take this deal forward towards fruition. And if it comes through, which I hope it does, then clearly there are sectors like energy, minerals, infra, and pharmaceuticals where India can benefit. Also, I think employment-intensive sectors like textiles, leather, apparels, etc., will definitely get a boost because at the moment they're subject to about 17% duties. But clearly, what we're looking for, and that is where both the Business Council of Canada as well as FICCI have announced a partnership to try and take this forward and ensure that there is greater interaction between businesses on both sides. Because I'm a firm believer that governments may establish relationships, but it's up to businesses to talk to each other and take that forward, make it broader, make it deeper, and positively impact bilateral relationships.
Right. Goldy, Hyder, coming to you, wanted to ask you about the cooperation on critical minerals. What is the guidance that the companies of the two countries have received when it comes to cooperation on critical minerals? Because a joint statement issued by both countries has a detailed paragraph on collaboration on critical minerals.
Well, it's certainly the topic of the day around the world, given the transition that's taking place and given really the fallout of the episode that's the war that in fact is taking place in Russia. People are looking to secure access to these critical minerals. India has some. Canada has a lot. Over 31 of the key critical minerals that are necessary are here. So it's a win-win opportunity for both sides to invest in each other's countries in the green transition, in renewable technology. The critical minerals is something that I would think the Indian companies need to look at investing in Canada for, because again, ownership and possession is 9/10, as the saying goes. If you are going to leave it to other countries to come and take their share, you may not get what you need from Canada. So it's an opportunity for both sides to invest in each other's country. And really what's being referred to as sort of the securitization, if you will, making sure that you're getting the things that you need from those who share your values, those who believe in democracy, the rule of law, the protection of minorities. These kinds of environment is how capital is going to form. And both India and Canada can offer that.
Right. Goldy, Hyder, I'd also like to ask you, are there certain areas, certain product lines where you want greater market access in India, greater exports from Canada to India?
Well, look, it's a wide swath. I mean, we will take what we can get. And the reason is this is an early progress trade agreement. It's not designed to be a comprehensive agreement. We're looking to have access to the markets that were identified. As I said, it's a two-way street. What I think Canada can bring to the equation, though, is helping India in the climate change transition, helping India with energy, helping India with food, helping India with security, working together on sort of our multilateral approach to trade. This is critical because at a time in which business is in search of confidence, we're looking for places to invest. Capital is pretty grumpy these days, if I can say. They want to go where they're welcome, where there's predictable, stable regulatory regimes, stable politics, social cohesion, but also trade agreements become an insurance policy. They're one more thing that businesses can look to and say, this is in place. It allows me to have confidence about where the tariffs are. It allows me to know what the rules are in the event that there are disputes to be resolved. And so I'm optimistic, but I'm more than optimistic. I would be very disappointed if we're not able to get this early progress trade agreement across the finish line. I think it will happen, but I guess we're all anxious to make sure it does, and it happens in 2023 itself.
Right. Final question to you, Mr. Panda. By when can we have this early trade deal in place?
So, as Goldy just mentioned, the early progress trade agreement is short of a comprehensive agreement, and therefore one would hope that we get to it sooner rather than later. Judging by the mood in the room, the various interactions that I was part of when the ministers were there, judging by the mood in the room, I would expect it to happen sooner rather than later. But obviously, I'm not privy to the proceedings, and this would be a precursor to a larger comprehensive agreement in due course. But I just wanted to add a point, Parikshit, if I may, about critical minerals. As you're aware, FICCI has come out with a report on new age energy minerals, which comprise rare earth elements and battery minerals. And this is precisely what we have talked about. That India must exploit its mining experts as well as strategic ties to ensure that we have this dialogue going with like-minded, friendly nations for mutual benefit.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Panda. Goldy, Hyder, for joining us on India-Canada trade relations and the way forward. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Global Eye. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.